Hello and welcome everyone to my unit analysis video on the Infernus Squad Space Marines. In this video, I'll go over in detail the stat line for the Infernus Squad, the synergies within the detachments, synergies with other models, and synergies with the stratagems. Let's take a look at the data sheet for the Infernus Squad. Movement is 6 inches. That's the typical movement for Tacticus infantry in the Space Marine Codex, and basically the default movement for infantry in the game. Toughness is 4. This is also the default toughness for Tacticus units. The save throw is 3+ with no invulnerable save, which is also the default save throw for Tacticus Space Marines. This low save throw makes Space Marines surprisingly resilient against small arms fire with no AP, which helps them mitigate the damage against guns that should be good at tearing through most infantry, that being weapons with many shots but no AP. 2 wounds, which also is the default for Space Marine infantry. Leadership is 6+, which means you're more likely to pass the battle shock test than to fail them. Objective control is 1, which is a typical amount for non-battle line infantry units. Now let's look at the squad's weapon profile. The first weapon on the list is the bolt pistol. Honestly, nothing worth mentioning other than it has the pistol keyword, which allows you to shoot while in engagement range. The squad's range for the flamethrowers is 12 inches, so you're having to get in close to shoot, which makes them susceptible to getting charged. Having that option to shoot while in engagement range is nice for that reason. The second weapon is the Pyroblaster. Like I said before, the range is 12 inches, so you need to get in close to your opponent for this squad to do anything. The attack stat is D6, so 3.5 on average. That's a lot of attacks, especially for a 10-man squad, which gets you 35 attacks on average. This is a torrent weapon, so it auto hits. This makes this squad amazing for Overwatch. You want to use the Overwatch stratagem every chance you get with these guys. Your opponent is going to know about this too, so you really need to be smart with your placement with this squad, so your opponent is either forced to eat in Overwatch, or you can use them to scare your opponent away from a key location. Honestly, their synergy with Overwatch is the main reason to use them in an army. The strength is 5, allowing them to really tear through toughness 4 and 3 infantry, which is a common toughness value in most armies. The AP is 0. This means the squad isn't very effective against vehicles or other units with low save throws, so keep that in mind. However, the sheer amount of shots will allow you to do some chip damage to those units, unlike most weapons that are used for destroying infantry units. And the damage is 1, which makes sense since the weapons have so many attacks. They have one melee option, and that's close combat weapon. This is a pretty mediocre attack, so you want to avoid getting these guys into melee with your opponent's units. This is tough, since their range is so bad, which is just an unfortunate weakness of the unit that you need to be aware of. Their faction ability is Oath of Moment, which allows you to reroll hit rolls on your Oath of Moment target, which is just about useless on these guys since their Pyroblaster auto hits, so that's a bit of an awkward non-synergy there. Their non-faction ability is Incendiary Terror. This ability makes it so one enemy infantry unit hit by your Pyroblaster must take a battle shock test at the end of your shooting phase. Honestly, I forget to use this ability most of the time since it's so irrelevant. The only way I could see this being useful is battle shocking an enemy unit so it can't use Overwatch during the charge phase, or battle shocking an enemy unit so it can't use fight phase stratagems. This isn't that useful because opponents usually use Overwatch on the move phase, and units that can use fight phase stratagems might already be on ongoing combat with one of your units, so you couldn't shoot at them anyways. Then the unit you shoot just has to take a battle shock test. Their ability doesn't just battle shock them. Honestly, this ability is mediocre and unreliable, and I wish it was replaced with something better. You can run a squad of 5 or 10. One of them is an Infernus Sergeant, however he doesn't have a different loadout than the other models, so he's really not relevant. The keywords are Infantry, Grenades, Imperium, Tacticus, and Infernus Squad. The only relevant keyword is Grenades. That keyword allows this unit to use a grenade stratagem, which can be used as a good option against vehicle units and other tough units. You're already going to be in close range with these guys, so there's a good chance that you'll be within 8 inches for the stratagem. 85 points for a unit of 5 models and 170 points for a unit of 10 models. I'd go for units of 10 to take full advantage of their high number of attacks to milk enemy infantry units. These are the models that can lead your Infernus Squad. Now I'll go over which ones have relevant leader abilities for the Infernus Squad. Marnius or Marnus, I don't know how to pronounce it. Calgar allows your unit to shoot and declare charge in a turn in which it advanced or fell back. This is a solid leader for this unit, especially since he has close range weapons too, but honestly, I think he's better off leading a melee focused unit. Oh, what the heck is this? Vulcan Heestan? What kind of name is that? Doesn't have a leader ability. However, he does have a synergy ability with Torrent and Melta weapons. His weapon has the same range as the Infernus Squad. He's perfect for leading this unit. Captain model allows you to use a battle tactic stratagem for free once each battle round. Some good battle tactic stratagems for this are Armor of Contempt, which is a great one to spam every turn on your opponent's turn. Storm of Fire, and Crucible of Battle works well if you're in close range, which is very likely with this unit. Emulation protocols should be used every turn. This is the most important stratagem for the squad in the entire codex. For this alone, I'd highly recommend running the Captain if you're using the Firestorm Assault Force detachment. The Apothecary can bring back one destroyed model in each of your command phases. This unit is getting into the thick of battle, so you will lose models. However, I'd rather focus on the offensive capabilities of the squad rather than worrying about slowly reviving models. Really, it's between running a Captain as a leader or Vulcan Heestan. They're both 80 points, so there's no real clear winner between the two. A Gladius Task Force detachment rule is Combat Doctrines. This allows you to choose a combat doctrine on your command phase, but you only get each one once per battle. The Devastator Doctrine allows all your units to advance and shoot. The Tactical Doctrine allows your units to shoot and charge in a turn in which they fell back. The Assault Doctrine allows you to charge and advance in the same turn. The Devastator Doctrine is solid for this squad, since advancing allows you to close in the distance between your opponent's units in this squad. The Tactical Doctrine is useful when you need to get this unit out of melee combat, but you'd like to shoot your weapon after you fall back. Overall, these doctrines are solid for just about any unit in a Space Marine army. None of the enhancements work well with this squad. Adept of the Codex is okay for if you get into melee and need to fall back, but it's just not worth the 20 points. Armor of Contempt simply lowers the enemy AP by 1. It's nothing fancy, just a solid defensive stratagem that you'll probably spam every time on your opponent's turn. And just to let you know, the stratagem is available under all the detachments. Adaptive Strategy allows you to choose one unit to be under one of the doctrines. This is good if you need to get your Infernus Squad up the board since you can keep them under the Devastator Doctrine. Stormfire can give the squad AP-1 if they're under the Devastator Doctrine. It's not bad if you need to do some damage to something with a low save throw, and you still happen to be under the Devastator Doctrine, which is the one that this unit wants to be under. Squad Tactics lets you move D6 inches or 6 inches if you're under the Tactical Doctrine. This is useful to move away from an enemy unit if you don't want your squad getting charged. Now this attachment was made for this squad. It gives assault to all ranged weapons in your army, which is exactly what the Infernus Squad wants. It also gives +1 to the strength characteristic of those weapons if their unit is within 12 inches, which is the range of the Pyroblasters. Champion of Humanity works well since the Captain is a Tacticus model. This enhancement is a little niche and won't be useful too often. It's only 10 points, so if you have 10 points left after building your army, I guess you could slap it on. The squad can only take advantage of the save throw on Forged in battle since the Pyroblaster's auto hit. It's only 15 points, so if you have those points remaining, you can slap this enhancement on. Honestly, these enhancements are better used on other units than this one. I wouldn't recommend running either of them. Crucible of Battle gives you +1 to your wound roll if you're within 6 inches, which is perfect for the Infernus Squad. Emulation Protocols is made for this unit. Like I said before, this stratagem alone makes leading this unit with a captain a good idea. Making this 2 CP stratagem free is amazing. Giving devastating wounds to this unit is just overpowered and gets rid of the squad's inability to deal with enemy units with good saving throws. If on average you're attacking with 35 attacks with a full squad of 10, you're getting on average a little under 6 sixes during the wound roll. 6 damage to the vehicle is often half its wounds. When running this unit in this detachment, you want to be abusing this stratagem as much as possible to allow this unit to punch up and do some good damage to units it shouldn't be doing well against. The Infernus Squad is a solid addition to a lot of Space Marine armies. This squad is great as an Overwatch unit and a staple of the Firestorm Assault Force detachment. There's good synergies with the Captain Model Leader and Vulcan He Stand, and I'd recommend either one or both to be leading Infernus squads in your army. Anyways, I want to thank you for watching. I'd appreciate it if you like, comment, and subscribe.
Burn the heretic!